Hey soul family, welcome back to the channel. This is the White Feather Tarot, and in today's reading we're taking a look at what's about to make everything make sense. There are moments in life that don't feel like it's big until we look back and realize everything changed right there. And so this reading is not about the past, but it's about a moment you're standing in right now. Something is shifting, aligning, or clicking into place. And the message that is coming through today is meant to help you understand why things had to unfold the way they did and what's about to turn in your favor. And so take a deep breath and set your intention to receiving your message in today's reading. And by the way, if you prefer to pick your pile using your zodiac signs, you will find a timestamp for that down in the description box. If you prefer for Spirit to pick your pile for you, you will also find a timestamp for that. Otherwise, we will be looking at your cards now. And let's see what we have. For pile number 1, you've got the card Pisces. For pile number 2, you've got the card Fixed. And for pile number 3, you've got the card the ninth house, house 9. If you prefer to pick your piles using your crystals, then let me add these right now. There we go. So for pile number 1, you've got the clear quartz in the shape of a squirrel. For pile number 2, you've got the rose quartz in the shape of a star. And for pile number 3, you've got the peach moonstone in the shape of a heart. So take a look at which one of these 3 piles you're the most drawn to, and this will be the pile for you here today. In case you feel drawn to more than one pile, maybe even all of the piles, trust your intuition. It's meant to take you to the piles that you are drawn to, the messages that you are meant to hear in today's reading. Looking at a moment that turns everything, where everything starts to make sense. And so perhaps these different piles are meant to build up on one another and explain something to you, especially if you're drawn to several piles and you kind of feel like, you know, I'm gonna go in that order. I feel this one the most, and then I feel that one, and maybe even this one next. So trust your intuition. Whatever you feel is the right one for you. It's your guiding light in many ways. What you are drawn to, what you feel, what you sense, most likely, most of the time, 99.9% of the time, this is why you've experienced the magic of tarot and finding your pile, finding your message nearly every time. This is the magic, and so let it lead the way. And as you're looking at your cards, I want to mention something very quickly because I want to protect you guys from it. There are these scammers in the comment section, and they change their strategies every time, like year by year. They have a different strategy. Sometimes they would create an account that is very similar or close to the content creator, and they would tell you guys to come, and they will, depending on the channel, really. If it's like a tarot channel, they'll tell you, come and we will give you a reading. We'll read your palm or something. We'll give you this, we'll do that. And when everyone caught up on that strategy, they started making a new one now. And it's all about selling books. And you'll find it in nearly every channel. And depending on the genre, you'll see that they've made up this book that's magical and it solves everything. And they have these long comments where they act like a regular viewer, and they tell you things like, I have been confused all of my life, and I don't believe any books being sold about this topic anymore, but you won't believe me. This is the first time that I saw this book of manifestations. And then this book changed my life. Now, the thing is, if they were writing a real book that they were passionate about, and they were just using the comment section to sell it, I wouldn't be going as far as warning you guys about it. But the thing is that these are scammers, and they go from one strategy to another. And I spend hours, like every once in a while in a day, I would stop what I'm doing and go, my God, these manifestation books people, or whatever they're selling now, they've probably like flooded the comment section with selling whatever they want to scam people with. So I would stop what I do, take 5 minutes, and of course, surely they're there, and I take hours blocking these accounts. And they're like, I don't know how they do these things. I don't know, the robots or whatever, they like send an inundation. You have no idea. I'm sure every content creator must be spending hours, or maybe someone has a brilliant idea that I haven't heard about. Hours clearing these, blocking these, putting keywords, doing many things, trying to block these comments that are ever changing every day. So I think the solution is for people to be aware about it. And I will be making sure every once in a while, so that I don't bore you with these, or flood you myself with this. But I want you to be aware, not just on my channel at all. But if most people watching are aware that this is a new strategy to fool people in a time where really no one has space for this kind of scamming or fooling. And it's a collective responsibility for the content creator to do their job, and for people to be aware, not to fall victims to these scammers who are trying to take people's money by selling something that's not even there. So be careful. If you see in the comment section comments about, oh, this consultant changed my life, they made me make $85,000 a week. Ooh, who did you consult? Barbara Streisand. I'm joking, of course. Sarah, I don't know, I don't know why I keep coming up with these names, but they always have someone that really solved their lives. And unless you've done your diligent homework in anything that you watch to make sure that what's being sold makes sense, they have proper reviews, they are someone who you've heard their content well, you have like observed their character, you've heard efficient information from them, just be careful not to believe anyone, especially in the comment section, who's trying to sell you something that may not be real. But also balance that with knowing that not everyone out there is trying to scam you or is a liar. You know that you're a good person yourself. So know that there are good people out there. Just have a balanced view. You know, there are good people out there. There are people who may not be balanced, you know. And so you just want to be more discerning, and that's all. So that's what I wanted to say with regards to that. And I hope that this serves to create awareness so that people don't fall victim to these comments. In case I've missed any of them or I didn't catch up on them yet, to remove them. Okay, so guys, please note that the next section is all about picking your pile using your zodiac signs. If this is something that you're interested in, please stick around. If not, please pause the video and take as much time as you need. But if you prefer to pick your piles using your zodiac signs, then my dear soul family, welcome. This section of the introduction has been created specifically for you. And in a moment, I will be pulling out 4 signs for each pile. There we go. Pile number 1. Pile number 2. Did I miss anything? No. Pile number 3. All right, let's see what we've got. For pile number 1, the signs are Sagittarius, Libra, Virgo, as well as Taurus. The signs for pile number 2 are Capricorn, Scorpio, Aries, as well as Leo. And the signs for pile number 3 are Pisces, Gemini, Cancer, as well as Aquarius. So, my dear soul family, these are the zodiac signs and their association to each of the piles in today's reading. Please feel free to pick your pile or piles using your sun, moon, or rising. I highly recommend you check out the 3. Alternatively, if you prefer to pick your pile or piles using any other placements in your chart, please feel free to do that. And once you're ready, you'll find the timestamps down in the description box. Click on your times, and I will see you in your readings. Please note that the next section is all about spirit picking your pile. If this is something that you're interested in, please stick around. If not, please pause the video and take as much time as you need. But if you prefer for spirit to pick your pile, welcome. This section has been created specifically for you. And what I like to do is assign a tarot card to each pile. The magician will be presenting pile number 1, the high priestess pile number 2, and the empress pile number 3. And what I like to do is shuffle them around until one of them catches my attention, and I will, there we go. And I will know that this is your chosen pile. All right, so your chosen pile by spirit today, my dear soul family, is pile number 2. Right, so I hope you've enjoyed the different ways in which you can pick your pile in today's reading, and that they brought you the clarity that you need to find your pile. And once you're ready, you'll find the timestamps down in the description box. Click on your times, and I will see you in your readings. Hi, pile number 1. Welcome to your reading. Today we're taking a look at what's about to make everything make sense. Oh, wow. Okay, really? I'll just trust the process. Right, so these are the decks that I'll be using for your reading today. If you're interested in knowing the names of any of them, you'll find that I always list them below for you guys. But very quickly, let me introduce your pile to you. Your crystal is the beautiful clear quartz in the shape of a squirrel. Your significator card is the Pisces card. And on the card, it says intimacy, intuition, as well as compassion. And if you've picked your pile using your zodiac signs, then in that case, the signs for this pile are Sagittarius, Libra, Virgo, as well as Taurus. Welcome to your reading. If these are not your signs, please don't worry about it. It's just another way for others to pick their piles as well. Okay, I think we are ready. Let's take a look at your oracle cards first. And I'm very curious about the 4 cards that popped up in the beginning of the reading. So let's start with that. You've got the clashing armies. You've got the pomegranate. You've got the distant walled city. And you've got the dog. Right? Look at that. This is your next oracle card. This is how it looks like. what it looks like. All right. You can see this little girl hiding. And the teddy bear, it's supposed to be something that she would love to play with, but it's now, because of its size and how big it is, it's turned into something scary. So that's interesting. So it's not the what, it's the how, maybe. And you've got the assassin. And finally, as your oracle card, you've got the mystic. Lovely. Let's take a look at your tarot cards. You've got the hermit. Is that you outgrowing your childhood fears? Because with the crabs and all of these shelled, not all of them, but yeah, the crabs and other shelled animals, they outgrow their shells. Sometimes they would remove them, they would hide to wait for their new shell to be created, and sometimes they would leave it behind and take on another one. But in any case, this is where I'm getting the idea that maybe this full-blown grown teddy bear could be you outgrowing a childhood fear / insecurity / something that you would usually be worried about or something. Just an initial idea, but let's see. You've definitely outgrown something and learned with the Hierophant. You've really understood, you've gained wisdom. You've got the Three of Swords. What's about to make everything make sense, first and foremost, is how you've grown. So it's not everything, but it's definitely a major element here. How you've grown from your previous pains with the Three of Swords. Because your previous pains, they used to disrupt your peace to a great extent. And you can see here, your peace is released, is now free through your own wisdom. So that's a strong element there. You've got the Magician. The Six of Cups. Wow, as well as the Star card. Oh my God. I feel like there is a huge wish. This is a major arcana, the Star card. A major wish that you had, one of your biggest wishes and dreams in life, maybe one that you thought was the distant wall city, like something near impossible even for you to have. The pomegranate represents the underworld and the rise, something rising from the underworld. In your case, it seems to be linked to your growth and healing, because as time goes by, even science is not just the esoteric world anymore, or the spiritual world, the history, the symbolism found in mythology anymore that reveres the pomegranates, but even science now is finding out how essential it is and how important it is in helping us heal certain things. I can't remember what an expert I heard was talking about in their longevity studies, and what they found with the pomegranate, that it's able to do something specifically in, I don't know, helping the cell regain back its vitality, or being able to fight the radicals in the body, something like that. I can't remember, to be honest, what it did exactly, because it's a very interesting topic for me, and I listen to so much, almost to a point where I listen to so much that I forget what was supposed to do what. But I know that they're discovering these days, or for a while now, how important the pomegranate is, and spiritual world and the esoteric world has always revered it. It's even in the Empress card, for example, the High Priestess card. It's a very important fruit. So all of this is me trying to say that is super related to your growth. Underworld, the pomegranate being is like something healing the growth here. You've healed something, especially with Pisces. I think Pisces is connected to the 12th house in astrology. And so it looks to me like you're transcending something, you're really growing. So, and as you are growing, it looks to me like you are healing something from childhood, the Six of Cups, and that is directly leading to a pour of, like a generous pour of a sort of energy that you weren't able to attune to before. And I want to tell you something. I've heard that your reading definitely reminds me of. I was watching a video that's explaining how we can understand better the idea of us living in a matrix, how energy works. And I wish I can remember the name of this video to give credit to, because I wish everyone would watch it. I like I said, I watch so many things I can't remember. But if I do somehow remember it or find it even in my lost history, in my history videos, I promise I'm gonna put a link to it. But it was saying something around to be able to understand the idea of energy, how we attract things, frequency, and living in the matrix, all of that. The best way to understand it is to think of our brain as some form of decoder to frequency. And so everything is energy, even the material is energy, right? And so our brain is able to kind of like, let's say, slow this energy down for us to see it in the way that we see it as matter. But it's all frequency at the end of the day. And since everything is frequency, it's what we're vibrating that creates things into our reality. We can work so hard towards something and not get a result at all. Sometimes people start working a little bit towards something and they would get it, and it all doesn't always make sense, is what I'm trying to say. But we are constantly taught that whatever our internal world is like, our external world will always match, especially when there are repeated incidences throughout our life. We meet the same type of people, we fall back into the same type of circumstances, or things like we consistently try to manifest something and it's consistently not coming, or something comes easily, like a specific area of our lives, it just happens to come super easily to us, but this other area just isn't. At the end of the day, what we see in our internal world is what our mind is, let's say, decoding. And so from that perspective, I'm genuinely seeing here that you are healing and transcending something that always scared you. Always either scared you or made you feel small, made you feel insecure, a particular thing. Because otherwise, you're someone who likes to enjoy life, likes to have fun. I feel like with this big space that this girl has, this beautiful room, I kind of get the idea for this pile that because before that they're okay in many ways, because before that teddy bear came in, how can I hide this? Before that teddy bear came in, this girl was having an amazing time. So I'm thinking your world would otherwise be very beautiful, really, and it is this fear or insecurity that is causing this disruption. It is causing these experiences, but the clashing army causing you to continuously have a form of pain that keeps coming in your life. That's why your reading is talking about how everything is making sense. Why you, with the clashing armies, you keep clashing with a specific type of people, why you keep having these particular experiences. And I feel like you found the key. There's the key. There's the magician holding the key. You found the key to a deep understanding, the pomegranate, that is genuinely allowing you to heal. I feel like the next time this bear is going to open the door, you're not going to be that affected anymore. And then the next time the bear opens up the door, you're going to start looking at it with no emotions, maybe, or without the, like, neutral is what I'm saying. Next time the bear comes in, you're going to start asking it to please go out because you don't want to be bothered. You're working now. You're playing now. Next time you're gonna start setting your boundaries, going, hey, it's not okay for you to just enter the room like that. I'm just speaking metaphorically. All I'm trying to say with the assassin here, that it looks to me like you are really outgrowing a fear or an insecurity in your life. You're really there. You're healing. You found a powerful tool or something, or you've discovered something, the key to help you heal that, which was constantly creating the same sort of clash in your life, the same type of issue, the same type of problem, maybe even the same type of people over and over. And that's why I've got the mystic. As you're being enlightened now, your eyes are opening. And enlightenment is all about understanding the internal world more than anything else. And not that you aren't meant to look at the external world and make use of it and its magic, but really it's all about tuning into your inner world and being enlightened with what's going on inside. So I really feel there's a huge sense of understanding what's going on, learning so much that you're outgrowing something. I almost want to say that in a moment or two, you're going to start becoming bored of, and maybe bored's not the right expression, but you're like, oh, right, here we go again. I feel like you are not going to be bothered, is what I'm trying to say, anymore. And these sort of clashes are going to dissipate out of your life little by little. As you are with the assassin, look at how it's pointing towards this card. As with the assassin, you are annihilating this fear or insecurity. You're really growing and transmuting that energy. You're transforming currently in your life. And what used to be so distant, the distant walled city, is the magician is what? Something appears out of nothing, is going to just simply appear in your life. Because the magician card is all about as within, so without. That's the main message of the magician card. As within, so without. As above, so below. And I really feel like as you're attuning to your inner world and really working with the tools that you have, mind, body, soul, emotions, you are growing out of it. So all this to say that I do see a huge dream of your life. The reading is saying a moment that everything turns. And so I really feel you are reaching that moment where you're healing inside and you are healing on the and your outside is changing. Both when it comes to the clashes that you used to deal with, that's the idea of transcendence. We can like absolutely see it clearly in your reading, and you can see that a major wish is about to be pouring into your life generously. So I want to ask two things. First of all, what is this major wish? We want to know that major wish. I want to look at your turning point, but I just realized I also want to look at what exactly it is that you're doing now that is making this all work. And I want to write these questions down because I don't want to forget them. Hold on. All right, I wrote them down. You can see here with the dog, you're following a particular path. Yeah, you're following a particular path. This reminds me of, this wolf reminds me of the moon card. I feel like you're following a path that is taking you to the underworld, the subconscious mind. It's showing you what's going on. You're discovering it. You're being aware of it. And then you're following that path to transcendence, to healing, and to receiving, or rather go on the other side is the world that you truly want, that matches your inner vibration now. So back to our questions. First of all, what is this major wish for pile number 1, please? You've got the Devil card. I really feel like you have been staring at something for so long, feeling like you're stuck. You can't get it. Like maybe you're watching it from afar, but you feel stuck. Yeah, there we go. The creature that has wings isn't able to fly, the Ten of Swords. The Chariot. And the Justice card. Can I place one here or 2? That's pertaining, yeah. So the Devil card, speaking of desire, we can clearly see that you've had a great desire for so long, one that you felt super debilitated from. It caused you a lot of pain. It's like there's duality here. It's a wish that you really want and love, but it looks like it's also one that brings you pain. So there is a dichotomy of energy here, like something that your heart is set on, but it seems like you're not able to catch it, because every time you get close, you find yourself in a lot of pain. And so it keeps you stuck in place. This particular Ten of Swords, the Devil, it's been making you stuck. Maybe even if we look at the pins going down the spine here, maybe even on a nervous system level. Just an idea, because of also the Three of Swords pain. We see fear, so nervous system here could be fear. And when I look at these 2 cards, I get a crazy idea. We see a cat jumping on a car that's moving. That's dangerous. We see the law here with Justice that can't see it do that, because if the law had caught it, the cat would have been fined. So what I'm trying to say is, it looks to me like this is such a big desire and wish that you had, and perhaps you've been so debilitated from getting it or experiencing it, that sometimes I feel you would go out of your way, do extreme things sometimes. And I don't want to say break the law, it might not be as extreme as that, but maybe break the rules or something. Either rules, societal rules, or maybe simply rules you set to yourself. It doesn't have to be, again, that extreme. But there's something about sometimes even breaking the rules and not getting caught, so that you can sometimes get a glimpse of it. And I want to give you an example here, in case you're going, what? Let me think of something here. Like someone who is so thirsty, maybe, let's say, corrupt world, but instead of the corrupt world, we're dealing with fear here. But just to explain what I'm trying to say, is not supposed to take a cup from a table that's full of abundant water. And sometimes, because they can get so thirsty, and they would feel like they are on the verge of maybe even dying, they would sometimes take a cup, drink it, just to be okay. That's just like a quick example to translate the energy of seeing a wish that you always stared at, but the moment you moved or did something towards it, you would get super hurt to a point of being stuck. The pain, or in that case could be fear or maybe shame or insecurity or anything like that, would keep you stuck. But then there was an extreme of it, that sometimes you would do also the other end, extreme things that maybe are not allowed or you don't allow to yourself or anything like that. You were lucky that you didn't get caught, but that was your way of managing it. It's interesting how the cards are explaining it, but it's showing you what that wish is that's going to start now pouring easily in your life without this whole drama that you may have found yourself needing to go through or having to go through. So it comes easily to you. I have 2 more clues regarding this wish. Oh, look at the pomegranate. Wow. So we do get the Death card, which is all about a transformation. Also ending this fear, this shame, this insecurity, whatever this was, once and for all. We did see a transformation. We know about this. Wow. And you've got the 4 of Pentacles. With the 4 of Pentacles, it could be, I'm not sure, something materialistic for you, or it doesn't have to be that. You know what? The 4 of Pentacles is something valuable, so valuable to you. I think it's that, because the 4 of Pentacles mimics that energy of being a little bit obsessed about something, being afraid that it would be taken from you. So I would say that this means the world to you, this wish. It's something so valuable to you, something that you always wanted. Now, I feel like it's become so valuable to you because with the pomegranate in the underworld, it looks like there's scarcity here. Yes, of course, we just analyzed that. Yes, there was scarcity of it during childhood, and so it now turned into a major dream. Childhood dream, 6 of Cups and the Star. It's something you've always wanted. So I'm starting to think less that it is money and wealth, although it could be. Please take it how it resonates. I keep oscillating. But at the end of the day, it doesn't matter what it is. But what I know for sure with the 4 of Pentacles, that this is something very valuable to you. It's so valuable, I think, that if you go back in time and talk to your inner child or talk to your little you, your child version of you, and they get to ask something about what you get to have in your future, this would be the one thing they would ask you. If they only had one question to ask their future self, and it starts with, did we get to have that? 6 of Cups, the stars, the Star card, that is the wish. And from now on, it's going to be pouring into your cup abundantly, very easily. Which takes us to our second question, which is, how is this turning point happening? Let's explore that. I will shuffle your deck and I will be back. Okay, so how is this turning point happening for pile number 1? The Empress. Nurture, care. Wait. Let's see. 2 of Swords. Card of not seeing. Being blocked from something. Again, let's wait. The 7 of Wands. I also see that one peeking out, so I'm going to take it. And the 3 of Cups. So, how is this turning point happening? Two of Swords is also a card of not seeing. I think I'm going to go with that direction because the Justice card wasn't seeing. And then here you've got the eyes. You're being aware of seeing. So I'm going to go the underworld. I think I'm going to go with the seeing. Knowing that the Empress is about nurture. Oh, okay, I just got an idea about something. I'll tell you about it in a moment. But the Empress sometimes represents mother, and we see a child here. So maybe you're mothering yourself towards something. Parenting, it doesn't have to be mother. It could be like parenting yourself towards something, nurturing yourself. The Two of Swords. The turning point. The turning point happening now seems to be you now being aware and observing your inner child fear, inner child shame, inner child insecurity, whatever that is, and nurturing it. And so this time it looks like the turning point is happening because with the Seven of Wands here, you are watching the scary thing happening, but you're standing still. And that's how you are you're facing it. Seven of Wands, facing fears, facing challenges. So the turning point is happening because you are not just aware now, fully aware of that fear, emotion, that thing, that's that clash that happens in the internal world, but you're not running anymore. You're standing still, observing it and nurturing yourself as you're observing it. And each time you're doing that, you're giving yourself more power for the second time you go through this process. And then that in turn gives more power to you, your next future you, to go through that process. And it looks like the turning point is happening. It's happening because one trial after the other is making you feel stronger. And it's sort of the thing I picked up actually here when I imagined the girl and the bear looking at your cards. I've imagined the girl suddenly going to the bear, saying to the bear, yeah, I'm done. Okay. Please get out. I'm done. I'm done with this situation. Please get out. So that's what I'm feeling here. The Three of Cups is a celebration. So I feel like you are at a moment of time, this turning point of one tiny celebration, allowing for the next one to be easier for you to overcoming, and that celebration or the past celebrations allow for the next one to happen. And it's like a domino effect. One thing falls, allows for the next thing to fall, allows for the next thing to fall. And not by time, but during this time, although we're saying it in slow-mo, this is all happening as a domino effect, one after the other. You're going through that process rather quickly. It is, in fact, this turning point that is now making everything make sense. I feel like you're gonna, just like the little girl here, stand there and go, I'm not bothered by that anymore. That thing is not scary, or that thing is not big and I'm not small. Whatever this is, it's gonna make sense to you now. Things are gonna start making sense. The clash in the internal world is gonna diminish, and so it's not gonna be affecting you on the external world. And so the whole issue is gonna disappear. It's not gonna be an issue anymore. It's not gonna be painful anymore, especially one that's not taking away from your peace. And I feel like that's the turning point. Yeah, you're growing out of this whole situation with the Hermit. You're finding an internal light. And what used to be so distant is going to be so near, because you will realize that it was all of these fears and pains that were the very thing that was making it so far. Yeah, I feel like just like the dog here and the path, you're on that path. And while this seemed so far, as you go on this path, you'll find yourself, hey, that's not so far. I feel like something that used to be to you such a faraway dream is suddenly going to feel like it's 2 steps right in front of you. That's what I'm feeling as your turning point right now, what's going on right now with you, this whole thing that's turning. And finally, I want to look at what your healing modalities are. What are you doing? So that, actually, wait a minute. This card has explained both of them, the turning point and the healing modality. Yeah, and my dear pile number 1, this is exactly what I see. You're giving compassion to yourself. You're using your intuition and tools to find your way. And intimacy, maybe you're going to even create an intimate connection with yourself or with your inner child. Yeah, this is exactly what I see in your reading. Finally, the end of all of that. I wish you the best of luck with that. That's exactly what I see as your wish that's going to be pouring super easily in your life right now. And I hope you've enjoyed your reading. If you have, please give me a thumbs up. Subscribe to the channel so that you never miss a reading that I upload. And my dear pile number 1, I'll catch you in the next reading. Bye! Hi, pile number 2. Welcome to your reading. Today we're taking a look at what's about to make everything make sense. And to do this reading, these are the decks that I'll be using. If you're interested in knowing the names of any of them, you'll find that I always list them below for you guys. But very quickly, let me introduce your pile to you. Your crystal is the beautiful rose quartz. I feel like these 3 cards are coming out, so I'm going to take them. Your significator card is the fixed, meaning the fixed signs, Taurus, Leo, Scorpio, as well as Aquarius. And the keywords are stability, persistence, loyalty, as well as dependability. And if you've picked your pile using your zodiac signs, then in that case, the signs for this pile are Capricorn, Aries, Leo, as well as Scorpio. Welcome to your reading. If these are not your signs, please don't worry about it. It's just another way for others to pick their piles. All right, so let's see what's going on. What's about to make everything make sense, that moment that everything turns. Okay, so let's check out this card first. So you've got the card, the Pathless. Oh, I just noticed. Look at the hands here, reaching out for something. Everyone's reaching out for something here. Right. You've got the Starborn. Ooh, nice. Especially that the egg is cracked and it's about, and a newborn is about to come out. And it's the Starborn. Right, I'm getting a lot of ideas, but we're gonna wait. You've got, oh my God, you won't believe this. This is the exact card that popped up in pile number 1. I would say if you're drawn to pile number 1, I highly recommend it. Perhaps for some of you, it is expanding on your reading. Maybe it is another thing that's about to maybe happen in your life, another turning moment. So I would say, please check it out if you are drawn to it, of course. Right, so you also have the Bridge. You've got the Crossroad and the Bridge. Wow, and the egg about to crack. I mean, this definitely looks like you're about to shift paths. It looks like you're moving into a new world. Obviously, all of them are saying the same thing. You are about to experience a new world. You're getting into a new world. Interesting. And let's see how this is all about to make sense and what is it making sense of. Okay, your final oracle card is the Diplomat. Speaking of going into another world, diplomats, they travel a lot to create relationships between one country and another. So maybe let's wait and see. These are the clues anyways that we're getting so far. Let's take a look at your tarot cards. You've got the 7 of Cups. To create relationships between one country and another. So maybe you are going somewhere, and it doesn't have to be a place, but you're moving somewhere, but you're still going to have a strong connection between that place and the other, that thing and the other, something like that. Let's see. You've got the Empress, a child being born again. It's the Empress card. Yeah, do you see? You can't miss that one. The coincidences are becoming too much. Yeah, the synchronicity here is very high. The synchronicities, I mean. You've got the Tower card. The Judgment card. I don't think I can place another card, so let's have space instead. So, I think this is a sign for us to stop with the cards for now. What are we seeing? What's going on here? Yeah, talk about the crossroad. Because I see a strong foundation breaking. Now, this strong foundation, it could be something that you held on to so strongly because it was the only thing you had. But if you realize that there's not just one thing, there's many where that came from, for example, you wouldn't be holding on to that so much. So I see a split on your path. I see a split in something foundational that you're holding on tightly to. And with Judgment being right next to it, it's like the thing is coming with the cure, like with the instructions. What I'm trying to say is, the moment this breaks is the moment you get the news that there's so much more. Let me give you an example to that, a quick example. Let's say and it's a funny one, but something like that. Let's say your grandmother is a great cook. She does all these amazing dishes and she bakes all these amazing things, and she believes that her secret sauce is that machine that she bought in the early, 50s or something, 60s. And she cherishes it. And she thinks it's her secret sauce that she found out once in a store and she bought it. And from then onwards, she didn't hear anyone knowing of that machine. Or maybe she traveled somewhere and in that particular country, they made this invention and she got it. So she's been super reliant on that machine that she uses every day in the kitchen. She loves, she cherishes, she thinks it's her secret sauce to all the amazing dishes that she creates. And to her, giving good nutrition to her family is one of her biggest values. And so that thing means a lot to her. And let's say one day that machine breaks down. And your grandmother is in so much pain. She's so distressed. She's sad. She's even crying over this machine. And you catch her being so sad and it shocks you. So you ask her, Grandma, what's wrong? Are you okay? And your grandmother says, I will never be able to do all these delicious dishes that I do for you. All of you, this is the most fulfilling thing for me. I can't believe I live my life without it. And she's so distressed. And so your heart breaks for her. And she said, and you say, Grandma, show me this machine. There must be a way we can fix this or do something. And you look at this machine and you realize it's something that's so common now. Everybody's selling it. And it is something that it has even upgraded from the 60s where she found out about it. And now it does even more things, and it's more reliable, it's faster, it's more efficient, this, that, and the other. And you tell her, Grandma, is that the machine you're crying about? Yes, that's the secret that I found in this country, I don't know, Poland, when I traveled there 50 or 60 or that's, oh, it's been a long time now. I don't know, 80 years ago. And you say, I'm going to get you an even better one today. So you take her out. That's the moment where the moment of distress is the moment she finds out about it. So you take her out into like the new kitchen technological section. Let's say she wasn't interested to go there before. Obviously, my story has a lot of loopholes, but just stay with me. I'm just giving you an example. So you take her there and she's like, whoa, oh my God. And she watches all of these, and the salesperson shows her all of these ways that you can use all these different machines. And she's mind blown. She can't believe it. And suddenly her life lightens up. She feels like she no longer, yes, of course, she has to take care of this machine and everything, but she feels like it's no longer that rare thing that she has to hold on to. And if anything happens, her whole life is going to stop. So she picks an even better one. She goes home so happy. She hugs you, she kisses you, she's grateful, and you make her day. So that was just a quick example, translating the energy that I'm seeing in your reading, just to show you what it means for something foundational to break, only to realize there's so much more out there. And so I see a moment, a breaking moment, and I'm going to be truthful with what I'm seeing, but I'm also seeing that you're not going to suffer, because I'll get there. You're not, yes, I am going to get there actually, because with the 7 of Cups, this is something beyond your wildest imagination. This is like, to you, if anyone told you what's about to happen in your life, you'd laugh it off, you'd think it's crazy, you'd think it's fairy tales, you'd think it's like, right, well, thank you for the nice dream. Let's go back to reality. Like you'd have someone that would tell you, you know how you can solve this problem. You can solve this problem if you had a jet plane, a private plane that wasn't bad for the environment, and it would take you to all these places so you can do all these things and at the same time be able to carry your responsibilities. In that moment, that sounds so absurd. And you would say, thank you for the suggestion. Now let's go back to reality. All right. Right now, I'm so distressed. I don't have time for that. And what I'm trying to show you is within an egg, a little chick thinks that this is her whole life or its whole life. In a mother's womb, a child thinks that this is all there is. And likewise, where you are now and the circumstances that surrounds you and the rules and everything that's going on at the moment seems to be the only thing that's real. And I'm foreseeing for you that this whole foundation is about to break for you. And while momentarily that foundation may look like it's the scariest thing that is about to happen in your world, that turning point, at that very moment, you're also going to learn so much about what's beyond it, that all of the things that you could have laughed off and maybe not even have thought about because it's outrageous to think about, is actually what's out there. It's the real world out there. Because when a baby comes out of the womb, it experiences its favorite thing, and that is its mother, the love of its mother. It's definitely way better than the womb. It is in the arms of that which it loves the most. And so in a similar way, this is what I'm seeing for you. I'm seeing that you are right now at a crossroad. And not that you're gonna lose connection, by the way, for your reading specifically, not that you're gonna entirely lose connection with your past world, what's your world now altogether. I am seeing with the bridge and the diplomat, somehow your story is going to be all about benefiting from two new worlds, maybe it's a two new world, benefiting from two worlds, the new world that you're about to get into and the old world, but the foundation itself is breaking. The foundation is breaking, but the place is still there. Parts of it are still there, or benefits of it are still there. So that's exactly what I'm seeing as we look at an energy here. So I see a moment that maybe may look initially as super frightening. You can see it here in your card, like something major news maybe with the Judgment, or something something weird suddenly pops into your life, something big that you always thought was scary, that you never wanted to face or see or want happen, gets into your life. And that very moment where you're going, oh no, is this happening to me? That moment, just like the grandmother story, is also the very moment that you will get news about a far bigger world out there, that it won't matter any longer that this actually falls or breaks or happens. In fact, your significator card are the fixed signs, stability, something that you can rely on, which means that you are going to continue to live your life, continue to have that safety, continue to have that whatever you're relying on. Is the form changing? Yes, but you're going from the womb to the mother's arms. So nothing is happening to you. And so here you're moving from one safe hand to another safe hand. And so like the child, maybe we go back to the grandmother example. The child, let's say, has been living with her beautiful grandmother for the last 5 years, and now it gets to unite for one reason or the other back with its mother. And so now this child, all it knows is the love of its grandmother, who tells her, oh, you don't understand how kind your mother is. If I'm kind, she is 50 times kinder. If I'm loving, she's 50 times more loving. You have no idea. In fact, I'm a little worried she's gonna spoil you. So the child goes from the hands of the grandmother to the hands of the mother, which adores her. And so between the hands, maybe the child's a little worried, but looking at its mother and how much the mother's looking forward to meet her, and the presents that she gets her, and the beautiful warm hug that she gives her, the child feels, oh, it looks like I'm gonna be okay. This is looking good. And in that same sense, this is what I'm feeling is happening in your life. Now, I believe, and the diplomat here would be presenting in that example, that you're not cutting off relations with your grandmother. Maybe the world that you know is different now and is changing because you're living somewhere else now with another person, but you're not cutting off your relationship with your grandmother or with their grandmother, and you're going to have the best of both worlds. You live now with your beautiful mother, but you get to see your beautiful grandmother, and it's all even better. So that's just an example of what I'm trying to say looking at your cards. What I want to explore, however, is this break. I want to try to find out in which area of your life, most importantly, how this breaking of foundation is going to happen and where is it going. So we're going to represent the areas for simplicity's sake to grandmother, which is where you are now. What is the grandmother representing in your life? The transition. How is the transition looking like, which is from one hand to another? And what is this mother representing in your new world? That's the plan. Let's get straight into it. Okay, I wrote it down so we know what we're looking at. The grandmother energy, what it is. From one hand to another, what's that transition? What's the old foundation? What's that bridge from one hand to another? And what is the mother energy? Let's spread it out. And let's take a look at your cards. Actually, let me put them up there so we have space. Okay. So, for pile number 2, please, at the end of the day, remember that your significator card is all about stability. Rose quartz is all about love. So it's going to be handled with great gentleness and care, this transition that you're going through right now. Also, this transition will make everything make sense. You will start to understand why things happened, why you had to go through this phase, what's this in-between phase teaching you, and where it's taking you. It's all suddenly going to make sense. So yeah, let's explore that. What is the grandmother signifying in your story? So you've got the 8 of Pentacles. The 9 of Cups. Wow, yeah, I get it. Something you work so hard to have, and it's something that you love. All right, but don't worry. Remember, it's from one hand to another. We'll explore more on that energy, but it's definitely looking like something that you've worked so hard to have. It's something that you've mastered with the 8 of Pentacles, and it doesn't have to be work, by the way. But these are the keys. Something that you worked hard for, something that you've mastered, something that you've gained wisdom doing, something that brings you fulfillment, something that you've gained a lot of mastery from. Mastery to create or do. All right. We'll expand more on that in a moment. What is the from one hand to another? Page of Swords. You're learning now new information that may not be comfortable initially, but you will be able to grasp it with the Page of Swords. Look at the figure graduating here. They have their hands on their heart. You'll take it to heart. This new information, this new learning. So it has to do with your mastery and what you've learned, right? So maybe initially you're like, oh no, I worked so hard to understand this, to create this, to have this. It makes me happy. And then you'll understand that this is something that's happening, not there to take it from you, but it's upgrading your information, maybe in a new direction that you didn't know much about. At the end of the day, it feels all stable. I don't see you suffering at all through this. Ace of Cups. It's a new thing that you will love. And it looks like it's focused on the learning. Like sometimes we don't want to, we all don't like change. We mostly don't like change unless it's like it appears to be so exciting from the very beginning. Sometimes we stop ourselves from learning something new because we think it's complicated and we couldn't care less at this moment of time. But then when we start doing it, we start getting thoughts like, oh my God, I cannot believe I didn't find this sooner. I can't believe I spent years of my life not having this fun. I can't believe I used to put in all that amount of effort and work into something that could have made it easier for me so that I can focus on the thing that I love, and so on. Something like that. What's the mother here? And again, we're looking at a bigger picture and we will explore further in a moment. What's the mother presenting for you? The Fool card. And the Eight of Swords. It feels to me the mother is a new journey that is so beautiful, but one that you would have never dared to step into. And I feel that you realize, your mind opens up and you find that, hey, I'm allowed to go there. I'm allowed to be part of this or something. So it looks to me like your mother in that case is an amazing location or situation that you would have loved to be part of, but it was so scary before you never dared to even touch it. And I feel like this new thing that you're going to be learning, or rather forced to learn, that you will love, will suddenly put the light on this other path that you never dared to look at. And I see you going, oh, you don't say, I get to be there? I get to do this? No, get out of here. And you read more and you're like, that's the only way. That's where this is taking us, whether we like it or not. You don't say, so I'm going to be part of that? So I'm going to do that? No, I step into that? That's crazy. And suddenly what was locked out, or rather you locking yourself out without knowing, because you were so focused on mastering something, on being so good at something, that you never thought you could be part of the world you always desired. Maybe even a world you didn't dare think about. It's like that example we thought about in the beginning of someone telling you, you know how you can solve your problem if you had a private jet and it wasn't bad for the environment and you can go everywhere, that would solve your problem. So you get to actually live that right there. So that's what the mother is presenting. And so what is it called? There's a little bit of the syndrome. What is it called? The out of place syndrome? Or no, it's not called that. It's imposter. There's a little bit of initial imposter syndrome, because this is something that you never imagined you could have or be part of or go there. It depends on what this is. So you're initially going like, yeah, that's my thing or something, until you're like, yeah, that's actually not so hard to achieve. So that's what the mother is representing in your reading. Now, what I can do is expand on these three sections even more to give you quick clues. But what I can also tell you and assure you is that this whole process from the grandmother to the mother is going to be one of stability, one of that you can rely on. It's dependable, it's soft, it's cushioned, and you get to understand right away that it's not really a loss, if at all, in that very instance. So let's expand on the grandmother even more. Can we get more information on what we're seeing with the Eight of Pentacles and the Nine of Cups? Thank you so much. The Nine of Wands. So it's something that you've gained a lot of confidence in over time, this last period of your life. And you are ready to go through this transition, because a scratch doesn't scare you anymore. It doesn't hurt you anymore. And while this is important to you, because you've mastered it so much, any movement wouldn't bring out the unnecessary noise, like the fears, the things that would scare you, which are the fears, the things that would worry you, same thing. Hurt you, yeah. The things that would hurt you aren't gonna hurt. So all the noise is been taken care of so well that you're able to go through that transition. If you're wondering what I mean here, if we go back to the grandmother example, let's say the little girl couldn't have been ready for a situation like that because she needed to feel stability with the grandmother first. She needed to start having a life, forming friendships with other children, doing this, doing that, and getting that sense of stability first before that could happen. And she's able to like normally and happily, not happily, but like do it without fear. And so in the same sense, there's something that you've mastered here, that you've done so well, that you've established so well, that you've gotten so good at, that you've gained so much confidence. And while you never want this foundation to ever fall, but your skills and your confidence and your thick skin has been created, where the usual things that would have made you sad or hurt or afraid isn't affecting you anymore at all. Maybe you have a safety cushion or something, or you have great skills that make you feel like you're not so afraid of any movement, or you have potential or something like that. But anyways, you're like confident, you're not freaking out. And this is when the universe is choosing to do it, because you can handle that initial, where before you wouldn't have handled it. You're like, no. Now you may not like it initially. It may make you feel sad because it's an important foundation, but you're okay. And you're able to listen with this Judgment card. You're able to listen that because you're calm. Look at this Tower card and how calm they actually are. Because you're calm. Yeah, you don't like what's happening, but you're able to fully listen to the instructions. Like, if someone is scared of something, it's very different than if someone has a phobia. If someone has a phobia towards something, they won't be able to hear the instructions. Hey, just calmly take a step back, do this and do that, and you're good. A person who's scared can be calm and listen to instructions, but that's what I mean. And so here, with you being so mastering something so well, you're not so vulnerable. And thus, if we go back to the example of phobia or scared, maybe you won't like it, but you're calm enough now to hear the instructions. And the instructions are, from one hand to another, it seems like there's maybe a new way of doing something. Or something in the system may be changed that you have to learn about. New rules maybe that you have to learn about. Something or the other there. An upgrade in your color palette. Upgrade in something. Something's changing. And you now have to learn about it. But I see that you will be grasping very soon this learning. And look, this figure is holding the dandelion. This learning is the key for you to make a major dream come true. Not only that, but as you're learning with the Ace of Cups, you're really going to enjoy this. Let's say you're an artist and you've been using specific type of colors. Now there's an upgrade in the market and these aren't sold anymore. There's an initial, oh no, how am I gonna present these paintings that the clients are expecting from me? You know you're talented now. You know you're gonna do great art regardless, but you're really sad about these types of colors. You go out in the market, you hear other experts talking about how this is actually so better because of this consistency, because of that, I don't know. So you try it out, and then you're able to pull the color in the way that you want. You're able to, I don't know, mix it in the way that you want. And you're like, oh my God, that shows my art, that matches my art in this brilliant way. And you get all these brilliant ideas, and suddenly you paint masterpieces that everybody's wowed about. And now you're among the international artists whose art is admired worldwide. People hear about your idea. You're able to bring your ideas behind the art into life. And so now you're stepping into these big platforms. You're selling paintings for millions of dollars. You now speak internationally about your concepts and your ideas, and really you start your light shows, and you start giving to the world. So that's another example that shows what I'm seeing here. Now you've got thick skin, and yeah, now you've got this. It seems to be all about the learning here. Now you've got thick skin to handle it, and here the instructions, and you will soon be learning a lot, forced to learn. But as you're forced to learn, you're going to love. This is like a huge aha moment. It's like, where was this? Oh my God, this is brilliant. And you step into where you always wanted to go, but you wouldn't even dare. Like, this is so big that you wouldn't even maybe have dared, or maybe you have, to think it could happen. But yeah, pile number 2, you're going to places. And I wish you all the best of luck with that. If you've enjoyed your reading, please give me a thumbs up. Subscribe to the channel so that you never miss a reading that I upload. And my dear pile number 2, I'll catch you in the next reading. Bye! Hi, pile number 3. Welcome to your reading. Today we're taking a look at what's about to make everything make sense. We're taking a look at a moment that everything turns. Let's see what this moment is all about. What are you making sense of? What is happening in your life? And these are the decks that I'll be using for this reading. I really enjoyed pile number 1 and pile number 2. Let's see what we get for your pile. But very quickly, let me introduce your pile to you. Your crystal is the beautiful peach moonstone. Your significator card is the ninth house, with the keywords spiritual growth. And if you've picked your pile using your zodiac signs, then in that case, the signs for this pile are Pisces, Gemini, Cancer, as well as Aquarius. So welcome to your reading. If these are not your signs, please don't worry about it. It's just another way for others to pick their piles as well. All right, I think we are ready. Ooh, I think there is a card upright. This is the Hierophant. How interesting. Ooh, thanks. All right, so your tarot cards are also ready. Let's take a look at all of your cards, starting off with your oracle cards. But this is, excuse me, the card that was the other way around in the deck. It's the Hierophant. Very interesting how that popped up. The 9th house. Learning a lot. That's what's in common. The 9th house and the Hierophant. Exploring, learning, higher education, growth, becoming in control. And look, the Hierophant, the tree behind the Hierophant is kind of making it look like the gnome, right? So very interesting, the synchronicity there. I'll put it into consideration. But let's take a look at your oracle cards. Let's keep that there so we have space. Actually, we've got space right there. Right, so you've got this card. This is what it looks like. Looks like a beautiful place with a beautiful view. Okay, you've got the riddle. Talk about everything making sense. Right. An enigma. You've got the cottage in the wood. You've got the fisher. And finally, you've got the priest. What? The Hierophant and the priest. Very interesting reading, I must say. Right. Wow. And look at the power of the Hierophant, the priest, the gnome, the heart, all of these cards to tackle a riddle. Right, so let's take a look at your tarot cards. You've got the Nine of Swords. The Seven of Swords. The Seven of Swords there reminds me of how Alexander the Great decided to fix the riddle or the dilemma of untying a knot that nobody knew how to tie. There are two reasons I got this connection. It's because of the swords cutting, right? This is what Alexander the Great literally did instead of solving the problem. And this is why it's such a big discussion and a controversial topic. Some people say that's cheating. That's literally not solving the problem. So not solving the knot. Other people are thinking it's ingenious. It's a simple way to solve a problem. So I don't know why we're getting that, but that's what because I forgot to tell you why I connected them. The Seven of Swords solves a problem like that as well. A figure or an army member from Camp A sneaks into Camp B, steals the swords, and while stealing is technically bad, cheating, but they're doing it to prevent the war from happening. So is that a good thing? Is there a bad thing? That's why we see the Seven of Swords in both aspects. It's a card that could talk about stealing something, but it could also be a card about escaping something big like the war. So this is why I'm reminded of Alexander the Great and the knot discussion. So I'll keep it there. And let's take a look at the rest of your cards. You've got the Six of Swords. And the Five of Cups. And you've got, this one also moved, so I'm going to take it. You've got the Nine of Pentacles. Right, and the Two of Pentacles. Which leaves us with how many remaining cards? 4. Right. What's going on here and what's about to make everything make sense? That turning point. I would say with the Nine of Swords, you seem to be very worried about something. Almost worried sick about something. I would say seeing the Five of Cups and the Nine of Pentacles, you're worried about losing something valuable to you, something that makes you content or happy, or you are afraid of not getting something that's valuable to you. One or the other. Maybe it's both with the Two of Pentacles. Maybe you are afraid of maybe you have something valuable that you're afraid of losing it. And at the same time, you are afraid of not getting something that you see as valuable, that you really want. Why is this a riddle though? Let me think. It could be a riddle because they need to happen at the same time or be there at the same time or something. So maybe you're turning and churning and thinking, do I let go of that which I love to get what I really need or want? And then you scratch that off. Should I let go of that which I love to keep, of what I want to keep what I love? And you scratch that off. Something about you going back and forth, back and forth, back and forth about these two things. If we were to look at the two things that you have and want, one of them gives you a glimpse of a world that you love, of something that you love, and you feel like you're lucky to have it. The other one, you feel like you gotta be very patient, and you may even be waiting for a very long time, if ever, to get it. I say that because the cottage is like a small house in the forest that allows us to live this natural life, this forest life, with all the luxuries of the modern world, but get in touch with nature. It gives us this glimpse of it. It gives us this feeling of it that we really need as human beings to get in touch with nature, but it's not where we live. That's why I'm saying the thing that you have right now, it gives you a glimpse of a world that you want. And the thing that you want but don't have yet is something that will take, in your opinion, a long time of waiting for you to catch or for you to get. Now, why are the two a dilemma? Why can't you have both? Now, that's what I want to figure out. Here, you stay temporary. Here, you stay for a long time until you get it. Maybe it's the timing. Maybe something is such, okay, perhaps one thing is going to help you get the other, but it could be a risk in the first place to get the other. And so you only have a little bit of time, it seems, to use, but the other thing requires a long time. So there's the first risk. The second risk is that you may lose the little bit that you have because you're wanting to use it to get something which way bigger, and you could end up not having any of them at all. And I think you're going back and forth thinking, should I take this risk? Should I leave it? Should I wait? You're not sure how to have these two things at the same time. And there's something crazy here. I don't know how you're going to be applying Alexander's simple solution of not having to untie the knot necessarily, but cutting off the knot, and there you go. Problem solved, because Seven of Swords gives us that idea of taking a shortcut, using a shortcut with the Six of Swords that will take you there. Along the way, you may lose some things, but you will gain so much. allowing you to have both at the same time. So that shortcut will have some losses, yes, but will be nothing in comparison to the amount of things, the big wish that you want, the big thing that you have, and the fact that you're gonna have both things at the same time, just like a master with the Hierophant and the priest. So how are you going to do that? And it shows me here that turning point is you living in wonderland. You living in a beautiful world where you're like, I've made it. You're living in such a beautiful world. It's like you having it all, having both. You don't have to choose between one or the other, or lose both, or risk anything. You're going to have both. Very interesting reading. That's why you've got the ninth house. You're journeying into having both by going right through it, cutting it short. You're taking a shortcut. And we'll be exploring what the shortcut is. In fact, having these cards here, perhaps your cards are about to show us how this shortcut, Six of Swords, Seven of Swords, is going to happen. We're going to also be exploring what the losses are going to be. And we've already explored the nature of these two things that you want at the same time. Now, seeing the priest and the Hierophant, I'm seeing that this involves a lot of knowledge as well as your spiritual sense, your clairvoyance, your ability to foresee this future. You seeing beyond, like not seeing between, reading between the lines. You being able to see beyond the apparent. And we'll find out about all of this in a moment. This is higher knowledge, the ninth house, higher education. Being not just well informed, but knowing how to use this information. And thus, it's not about just cutting it. It's about the knowledge and intelligence of how to make that shortcut. How to make that what would look like cheating, but really is it? Maybe not. I mean, if the whole idea was about just simply solving the knot and doing whatever it takes to solve the knot, giving no conditions such as we want the rope to be intact, this, that, or the other. If there are no conditions, then perhaps it was a smart solution. If we just want to untie a knot, perhaps that knot, for example, is standing in the way for a ship to move, and the rope could be easily replaced, for example. Then that wouldn't be cheating. If we same thing here. If the whole idea was to prevent a war and people dying, and it's not about who wins, then is it cheating? So all I'm trying to say is being well informed and knowing what you're doing, not just what needs to get done, but how it needs to get done and why you're doing something in particular, like a masterful surgeon that maybe breaks a rule a little bit because they absolutely know what they're doing, and they understand how the different organs function. They understand what they're doing and why they're doing it and how they're going to do it to keep the safety of the patient, whereas maybe no one else can do something like that because they don't have that type of knowledge. So I see you taking a weird shortcut in this next phase of your life because you're gonna make sense of everything. I feel like with the ninth house, the explorer, the education, the higher education, I feel like you're gonna get in touch with some higher knowledge, or you're already very knowledgeable, but you will something is going to click. You will understand something on a deeper level that will allow you to go, crazy idea, very crazy idea. Haven't seen anyone done that, but what if I do this and do that? Would that be wrong? So let's say you're talking to your doctor, or you're talking to an accountant, or you're talking to a legal person, and you ask them, I mean, is it against the law, for example, to do that? So the lawyer's like, technically, you're not doing anything against the law. If you do that, there's nothing against that, nothing that prevents you from doing that. But you might risk, not being, you might risk not having, for example, these companies working with you, or you might risk not being granted, I don't know, like a visa in this place, or you might risk this, or you might risk that. I don't know. I'm not a lawyer. I'm just trying to translate the energy. And you go, so nothing's illegal. Nope, nothing is illegal. Or you talk to your doctor. So that's not going to harm my body. Nope, that's not going to harm your body. But you want to be careful with this, and you want to be careful. Yeah, I understand, but that's not going to hurt my body. Nope, that's not going to hurt your body. Right, like, so I can do that fast. Yeah, you can, I mean, that fast is not going to hurt you in that way. Would you want to be careful with this? So you say, right, if I make sure that my blood levels like this, my electrolytes are like this, would it then be okay? Yeah, if you take care of all of these things and you make sure you're working with a professional and you do it like that, then you, of course, it's not going to affect you. Great. I don't know what was the third example. We don't want to go on with examples. All I'm trying to say is that you're making a crazy shortcut because it's something is going to click. Like maybe it was one piece of information that was missing. You find out that piece of information and it suddenly all clicks. You can see the whole picture. It suddenly makes sense. And maybe someone else would have missed that. But you're already with the Hierophant so super knowledgeable. It's your significator card. And one piece of information makes everything click. And so now, instead of like being worried sick about something and having to choose and going through this whole dilemma, and of course, I'm not sure exactly to what extent this is worrying you, I am seeing you get this crazy idea. I mean, look at the face of this Seven of Swords. They're like, I'm going to do that. So I don't know what shortcut they have in their mind here, but you can see it on their face. They're like, I'm going to do that. So you're like, maybe consult experts. You ask about the health, the legalities. What else did we say? Health, legalities. Oh yeah, accountant, finances. You're like, I don't know, like, can I take this risk? Will my assets be able to pay it off? I don't know. And your accountant is like, that's a crazy idea, and you go, I know, but will it affect my assets? Your accountant's like, technically no, but you do run the risk of this, and if the interest rate goes lower or higher, and if this happens and if that happens. And you're like, okay, thank you for telling me that. What if I put some money on the side to mitigate these type of risks? Like I can instantly have something to pay it off in case this happens. And your accountant's like, well, if you put it like that, you can technically do that. I mean, it's not, I wouldn't lose my assets in that case. No, you're not going to lose your assets. And the danger of not paying it off, I will pay it off in that case, right? Because the money's there. Yeah, I guess you will be paying it off. So can I do that? And your accountant's reluctant. Then they're like, yeah, I guess. So all I'm trying to say is that is the energy here that I am seeing you doing. In what area of your life? I'm not sure. But since this is a general reading, that is the two elements, the two things that I see you trying to keep and have. And like we've went over them, of course, I don't want to waste your reading time. But that was the energy between the two, and that's what you're trying to figure out. And so I see you doing something crazy here. Suddenly it's going to click, everything's going to make sense. And that's going to be a turning point for you because although it's maybe risk, a crazy thing, might not be a risk at all. It might be a crazy thing or what seems to be like a crazy thing. You're going to go ahead and do it. And I see you observing with the Six of Swords. You're like, okay, it starts working a little bit, and you observe it and you're like, whoa, it's actually working. And you observe it a little bit and you're like, oh my God, it's working. And then you observe it a little bit. Oh, I lost this thing. And then you calm down and you're like, okay, fine. We'll just keep going. And then you move on and it's like, okay, it's working. Okay. Oh, I lost that thing. Gosh. But overall, it's great. Overall, it's great. So you're like, fine. We lost these two things. Move on. And then it keeps working, and you're closer and closer to that other thing that you want while you have that thing. And then bam, oh, didn't want to lose that one. Oh, and then you look at the grand scheme of things and you're like, fine, I may have lost these three things. Not too happy about that, but if from the beginning these three things were the price that I would have to pay to get these two things, I would have happily paid them. So fine, you can have these things. Maybe I can adjust them later. I can get them later. I can do something even better later. Fine. You can have these three things, and then you arrive. And I see a moment where you are standing in pride, holding these two things at the same time. Now, what I want to do is reveal these 4 cards to see the process of this crazy thing that you're about to do. So what are these 3 things? Did I say 3 things? I'll keep this in mind. What are these things? And then and look at that. Oh my God. This hand is literally saying 3. I think I channeled this number. So, and look, 1, 2, 3 to solve the thing in the middle. I don't know. So, oh, look, L3, of course we know, 53, but I'm just saying, I'm suddenly seeing a lot of 3s here. So maybe you're going to do 3 things. Let's see. In any case, these are the cards that are going to show us. Maybe my eyes looked there, so I got the impression of 3, or maybe I've channeled it. I'm not sure, but let's see. You've got the Hanged Man. The Lover's card. We're looking at the process, crazy process you're going to do. The Page of Cups. The King of Pentacles. If I see the Hanged Man first, it looks like you're going to sacrifice something initially or be in an uncomfortable situation for a while, right? So the first part of your process is you going, it looks like to take that shortcut, I must lean into discomfort. So discomfort is discomfort. If we go back to our examples, I don't know. Lean into discomfort. Not sure. Let me think. Well, an example of discomfort, quickest example, if we look at the Hanged Man and the King of Pentacles, a discomfort could be letting go of inconvenience, for example, to save, right? A discomfort in health would be avoiding the things that you would usually love to eat for the sake of gaining better health. What was our other examples? Legalities, the discomfort of whatever legal thing that you actually have to do to go through that so that everything is legal, to do what you want without ever doing anything illegal, right? Or anything like that. Following the laws, doing the right thing. So you're first going to realize that it requires a sacrifice with the Hanged Man, that shortcut. And you are leaning into choosing, with the Lover's card, this discomfort, choosing to get into this uncomfortable position. And at the same time, you are choosing, leaning into a new page, something that you deeply care about. I'm guessing the Lover's Page of Cups, that which you love here, that you want to get. So somehow the process involves a discomfort, choosing to settle into discomfort with the first thing, maybe a little bit of a sacrifice. Like this week, I'm not going to go to the cottage. Or something like that. Or for a while, I won't be able to access this cottage or something. And instead, I'm going to be using this time to just sit there and go fishing instead. Because I might actually catch that fish. And so in that way, you have that cottage, you didn't sell it, for example. You didn't sacrifice it, but you're also not enjoying it. And at the same time, you're leaning into that thing that you love, that you really want instead. And you're leaning into that patience, I believe, which we see from in the Hangman from the very beginning. And over time, since we talked about saving here, looking at the Hangman and the King of Pentacles, here the strategy is that over time, this will continue to grow until its maximum and then you'll be able to have these two things at the same time. So it's a matter of time as something continues to grow. And you look at the markers. Oh, it's growing. It's there now. And you keep at it. Oh, look at that. It's there. Oh, look at that. It's there. You never go, now that it's at this line, I'm going to sacrifice a little bit, get that joy, and then go back to making it grow. I feel like your third process here is staying stable, staying grounded with the King of Pentacles until it reaches the pinnacle, until it reaches the maximum. And it looks like through this process of sacrificing the first, leaning into the second, and watching something grow and not being tempted. See, King of Pentacles is discipline, continuing to do what's needed, having the tools to do it, being skilled at doing it. So you're there until it happens. You're there, you're patient, you know what you're doing, you've got the skills for it, you've got everything, and you're waiting for it to manifest. Because once that does, I do foresee for you that you'll be able to have these two things at the same time through this crazy process that maybe as people are watching you do, they might even call you crazy or something. But then it actually takes you there relatively quickly because it's a shortcut. Is it going to take some time? Yes, but relatively, it is a shortcut that you might have people one day going, whoa, how did you make it like that? How did you do that? And you've got this magical, crazy process that takes you there. And look at all these cattails in your cards. It's like you're protected, you're cushioned, you're insulated, because the cattails are used for insulation. So you're insulated. You're going to be okay, by the way, as you go through this process. This is literally the middle stage here. It's full of cattails. So you're insulated. You're good. You're going to be okay. And then it's going to continue to grow until you reach that point where you have it all. And you will realize that second thing without losing the first. And I see you being so proud of yourself. Look, I've made it. I have these two things at the same time. And so in that case, the 3 here wasn't like the number of steps. It's representing the 3 things that you're going to do. Sacrifice, lean into that which you love and want, and observe and wait and be patient until you manifest it. And yeah, my dear pile number 3, this is exactly what I see in your reading. I wish you the best of luck with that. May you always be blessed. And if you've enjoyed your reading, please give me a thumbs up. Subscribe to the channel so that you never miss a reading that I upload. And my dear pile number 3, I'll catch you in the next reading.